What if I told you that the frozen food sitting in your freezer right now might not be as safe as you think? What if those same foods that feel so quick, so convenient, were actually stealing your strength, weakening your body, and even feeding cancer cells without you realizing it? Scary thought, isn't it? Doctors are raising serious concerns about some of the most common frozen foods that many seniors eat every single week. But here's the surprising part: even with all the warnings, millions of people continue to rely on them every day. Could you be one of them? Now, I get it. Frozen food feels like a lifesaver. It's convenient, it saves money, and on those nights when cooking just feels like too much, it seems like the perfect solution. But here's the truth no one likes to talk about. Some of these frozen foods come with hidden dangers. They don't just fill your stomach. They speed up aging. They chip away at your independence. They quietly weaken your muscles, something doctors call sarcopenia, and they increase your risk of cancer. And the worst part? They look so harmless in the package. That's exactly why today's video is so important. We're going to uncover the 5 frozen foods doctors say seniors should avoid at all costs. I'll walk you through why they're so dangerous, the science behind it, and even share real-life stories of seniors who thought these foods were harmless, until their health told them otherwise. But don't worry, this isn't about scaring you without solutions. I'll also share safer, healthier alternatives you can enjoy, so you still get that sense of comfort and convenience without sacrificing your strength or your future. And before we dive in, I'd love to hear from you. Take a second and drop a comment below. What frozen food do you rely on the most? Because chances are, it just might appear on this list, and you'll want to know why. So, are you ready? Let's get started. Now, let's get into the heart of it. We're going to break this down into a countdown of 5 frozen foods you'll want to think twice about before ever putting them on your plate again. Each one might look ordinary, maybe even comforting. But behind the pretty packaging and the promise of convenience, there are hidden risks that can slowly chip away at your health. And here's the thing, some of these might already be in your freezer right now. That's what makes this conversation so important. I want you to stay with me until the very end, because the final frozen food on this list is one almost every household keeps on hand. It's the one most people never even question, and yet, it may be the most harmful of them all. By the time we finish this countdown, you'll not only know what to avoid, but you'll also have a clearer idea of how small changes can protect your strength, your independence, and even add healthier years to your life. So let's begin with number 1. Food number 1. Frozen ready-to-bake breads and pastries. Let's start with something that looks completely harmless. Frozen breads and pastries. You know the kind I'm talking about. The croissants, the cinnamon rolls, the frozen dough that you pop in the oven and serve warm. They look golden, fluffy, even comforting. And many of us think, how bad can bread really be? Here's the hidden truth. These products are often loaded with bleaching agents, dough conditioners, and industrial chemicals that were designed for factory convenience, not for your health. Some of these chemicals have been linked to cancer in animal studies. And that's just the beginning. The flour used in most frozen pastries is highly refined. Instead of fueling your muscles, it causes your blood sugar to spike and then crash, leaving your muscles starving for protein. Over time, this constant cycle speeds up muscle loss, something doctors call sarcopenia. The very strength you need to stay steady on your feet is slowly stripped away. I want to tell you about Eleanor, a 74-year-old grandmother. She loved baking off frozen cinnamon rolls for her grandkids, and she always treated herself to one too. For her, it felt like a warm family tradition. But within a few years, she was diagnosed with prediabetes. Her doctor noticed her muscle mass had dropped, and her daily walks became shorter and harder. What looked like love and comfort was quietly weakening her body. Now, I'm not saying you can never enjoy a pastry again. But it's worth asking yourself, do you think an occasional croissant is harmless, or should seniors cut it out completely? Share your thoughts in the comments. This is a discussion many families are having. The takeaway. If you love bread, choose fresh, whole grain options. They give your body the nutrients it needs without the hidden chemicals. Your muscles, and your future self, will thank you. Food number 2. Frozen creamy pasta dishes. Next up, let's talk about frozen creamy pasta dishes. You've seen them: macaroni and cheese, fettuccine alfredo, frozen lasagna. They look hearty, they smell amazing, and they feel like comfort in a box. But here's the problem. These meals are usually loaded with processed cheese substitutes, cream sauces thickened with hydrogenated oils, and mountains of sodium. To your taste buds, they feel rich and satisfying. But to your body, they're a dangerous trap. The combination of unhealthy fats and refined pasta causes inflammation, stresses your kidneys, and robs your body of the nutrients it actually needs. The salt levels alone in one frozen pasta dish can sometimes be close to an entire day's worth. That kind of sodium silently raises blood pressure, damages arteries, and makes it harder to preserve lean muscle. Take Frank, for example. He was 74, a widower, and he relied on frozen mac and cheese 3 nights a week. It was easy, it was cheap, and it reminded him of comfort. But over the years, he noticed his legs trembling, his endurance fading, and his doctor warning him about cholesterol and kidney strain. What he thought was saving him time was actually draining his strength. If you've ever relied on frozen pasta meals, comment number 2 below. I want to know how common this is. Now, some people argue that portion control makes these meals safe. But do you think that's true, or do the risks outweigh the convenience? That's something worth debating. The takeaway is simple. If you love pasta, make it fresh when you can. A small portion of whole grain pasta with real cheese or olive oil is a much healthier alternative. You'll feel satisfied, but your body won't pay the hidden price. Food number 3. Frozen processed meats. Now let's move on to one of the biggest culprits, frozen processed meats. Bacon, sausages, pepperoni, hot dogs. They're easy, tasty, and for many people, a daily habit. But here's the doctor's warning. These meats are often preserved with nitrates and nitrites, chemicals strongly linked to colon and stomach cancer. Add in the high sodium and saturated fat, and you've got a recipe that quietly works against your heart, your blood pressure, and your muscles. The real danger is how normal they seem. A sausage with breakfast. A bit of pepperoni on pizza. But over time, these habits wear down your health in ways you don't always see right away. Robert, a man in his 70s, chose frozen sausages every morning because they were quick and familiar. At first, it seemed harmless. But the years passed, and his doctor started warning him more often about his rising blood pressure. He noticed weakness when climbing stairs, and little by little, his independence began to slip away. All from what seemed like a simple breakfast choice. So let me ask you, would you give up bacon forever if it meant living 10 more healthy years? It's not an easy question, and I'd love to hear your opinion in the comments. The better choice? Fresh lean meats like turkey, chicken breast, or fish. They give you the protein your body desperately needs without the chemical baggage. Food number 4. Frozen desserts and ice cream. This next one might sting a little, because who doesn't love ice cream? Frozen cakes, pies, that nightly scoop of vanilla or chocolate, they bring back memories and comfort. But doctors warn that these frozen sweets carry serious risks when they become a habit. The biggest danger is sugar. High sugar intake fuels inflammation and provides energy that cancer cells thrive on. At the same time, sugar accelerates muscle breakdown, making it harder for your body to repair itself after simple activities like walking or climbing stairs. And it's not just sugar. Frozen desserts are often filled with artificial flavors, colorings, and stabilizers. They're also packed with saturated fat, which clogs arteries and reduces circulation. Without strong blood flow, your muscles weaken faster. Pair that with daily sugar spikes, and you've got a perfect storm for fatigue, muscle loss, and chronic disease. Think about Mary, a 72-year-old who enjoyed a bowl of ice cream every night as her reward after dinner. At first, it felt harmless. But slowly, she noticed her energy fading. Stairs became harder. Her doctor warned her about rising cholesterol and blood sugar. That little treat was quietly draining her health. Now, be honest. Do you have a sweet tooth? If so, comment number 4 below. And here's something to think about. Do you believe a daily dessert is fine as long as the rest of your diet is balanced? Or do you think sugar is too risky for seniors altogether? I'd love to hear your thoughts. The good news is, you don't have to give up sweetness completely. Fresh fruit, yogurt, or even a small square of dark chocolate can satisfy cravings while still supporting your health. Food number 5. instant frozen meals. Finally, we reach the last frozen food on our list. And it might be the most deceptive of them all: instant frozen meals. You know the ones. Pre-packaged dinners that promise variety and comfort. Lasagna, chicken pie, Salisbury steak. They look balanced, a bit of meat, some vegetables, maybe even dessert. But here's the reality. Most of these meals are built on low-quality ingredients, heavy processing, and chemical additives. They're designed to last months in your freezer, not to nourish your body. The sodium content in just one frozen dinner can easily pass half of your daily recommended intake. For seniors, that's a direct pathway to high blood pressure, damaged arteries, and increased risk of heart disease and cancer. And while they fill your stomach, they often lack the quality protein needed to protect your muscles from sarcopenia. Let me tell you about John. He was 80, a widower, and after losing his wife, he leaned on instant frozen meals to get by. They were quick, they were cheap, and they filled the plate. But after months, he noticed his clothes fitting looser, his arms and legs weaker, and his stamina fading. When he finally saw his doctor, the diagnosis was clear: significant muscle loss, high blood pressure, and other complications. What felt like survival was actually decline. Now let me put the question to you. If cooking feels overwhelming, are frozen dinners better than not eating at all? Or are they a shortcut that costs too much in the long run? I want to hear your perspective in the comments. The truth is, small, fresh meals, even simple ones, are far better. Or, consider meal delivery services designed for seniors. They might cost a little more, but they protect your health, your strength, and your independence. Let's pause for just a moment and take a breath, because I know this is a lot to take in. We've already covered 4 frozen foods, and each one probably surprised you in some way. First, those innocent-looking pastries that hide dangerous chemicals. Then the creamy pasta dishes loaded with fake cheese and salt. Next, the processed meats packed with preservatives. And just now, the frozen desserts that quietly drain your energy and strength. Which of these shocked you the most so far? Was it the pastries, because they look so harmless? Or maybe the pasta dishes, because they're so common in almost every freezer aisle? I'd really like to hear your thoughts, so share in the comments below. And remember, your story doesn't just matter to me, it matters to this whole community. When you share, you may help someone else realize they're not alone in their habits, or inspire them to make a change. That's the power of conversations like this. Now, before we move on to the final frozen food, which I promise is the one most people never suspect, I want to ask you for a small favor. If you found this video helpful so far, take a quick second to hit that like button. It really does make a difference, because it tells YouTube that this message is important and worth sharing with more seniors who might need it. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to Senior Strong Living. This channel is all about you, your health, your independence, and your strength. Each week we share new insights and practical tips to help you live a longer, stronger, and more fulfilling life. If that sounds like something you want for yourself, then go ahead and tap subscribe and turn on notifications. Alright, now let's get back to our list, because the final frozen food is one that almost every home has in the freezer. It's convenient, it's cheap, and it looks balanced, but it may actually be the most harmful of them all. So, there you have it, the 5 frozen foods doctors warn seniors to avoid. Let's take a moment to quickly recap. We began with frozen breads and pastries, those fluffy croissants and cinnamon rolls that seem innocent but are filled with chemicals and refined flour that strip away your strength. Then we uncovered frozen creamy pasta dishes, comfort meals in disguise, overloaded with salt and unhealthy fats that quietly damage your body. Next, we exposed frozen processed meats, the sausages, bacon, and pepperoni that come with dangerous preservatives linked to cancer. After that, we looked at frozen desserts and ice cream, sweet treats that may taste delightful but fuel inflammation, weaken muscles, and drain energy over time. And finally, instant frozen meals, the so-called lifesavers for busy days that are actually packed with sodium, additives, and poor quality protein, robbing you of your resilience with every bite. Now, let's step back and think about the bigger picture. Avoiding these frozen foods isn't just about diet. It's about so much more. It's about protecting your independence, your energy, your ability to keep doing the things you love. It's about saying yes to more years of strength and vitality, and no to the silent decline that so many people accept as just part of aging. And here's something I want you to reflect on. Which of these 5 foods do you still keep in your freezer? Be honest with yourself. And do you think moderation is enough, or should seniors cut these foods out completely? That's not a trick question. It's something I'd love for you to discuss down in the comments. Sometimes your opinion, your story, can spark a conversation that helps someone else take the first step toward better health. But here's the good news. Change doesn't have to mean giving up everything you enjoy. It's not about perfection. It's about awareness. It's about balance. And it's about making small, mindful choices that add up to a stronger, healthier future. Imagine choosing whole grain bread instead of frozen pastries. A fresh, simple pasta dish instead of a creamy frozen tray. Lean meats instead of processed sausages. Fresh fruit instead of nightly ice cream. Even preparing small fresh meals or exploring senior-friendly meal delivery instead of relying on instant frozen dinners. Each of those choices is like an investment in your body, your mind, and your future independence. And that is worth more than anything you could ever buy in a box. So let today's message be a reminder. Your freezer should not be a place of hidden dangers. It can be a place of strength, if you choose wisely. Now, if this video opened your eyes or gave you something valuable to think about, please take a moment to give it a thumbs up. It helps this message reach more people who need it. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and join us here at Senior Strong Living. This is your community, a place where we share wisdom, science, and support to help you live stronger and healthier every single day. And finally, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share one frozen food you're willing to cut back on after watching this video, or maybe one you're still unsure about. Your voice matters, not just to me, but to everyone in this community. Thank you for being here with me today. Remember, each meal is a chance to care for your body and protect your future. Choose wisely, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next video. Before you go, let me leave you with a little teaser for what's coming next. In our next video, we'll be uncovering one of the most surprising daily habits that can actually speed up aging in seniors. And here's the twist. It's something many people do every single morning without thinking twice. Is it harmless? Or is it silently holding you back from living your strongest years? You'll want to find out. So make sure you're subscribed to Senior Strong Living with the bell turned on, so you don't miss it. Until then, take care of yourself, stay strong, and remember, every small choice you make today is shaping the healthier future you deserve.